Black and white film. A path through the park. We move closer to a woman in a black beret and coat.
One evening I was listening to the piano. Suddenly I felt something and I realized what I had to do it. I have to summon that aching presence. It is so powerful as there is only absence all around.
The woman sits in front of exhibition.
My name is FLORE and I am a French-Spanish artist. My works can be found in many galleries around the world and particularly in Paris at the Clémentine de la Ferronnière Gallery.
Thick ivy spreads on the ground before us, climbing the trunks of 3 fig trees.
What I actually tried to do was to evoke the presence of Chopin, who was still very much alive in that house. He was there, everywhere, all the time. All you had to do was listen and to look. You would not be erased.
A blurry photo shows 2 deer. The artist walks down the garden path, looking around.
I am a contemporary photographer, strongly focused on technique, which means that I simply love my medium. I have extensive knowledge also of historical techniques. I make my own prints myself. In the studio I share with Adrian Claret. I do all the dirty work, even the interiors. I make prints on gold and I also work with porcelain. What matters most to me in all this is expressing emotions. But my real purpose is to make these emotions reach audiences. I attempted to start a dialogue with that musician who lived in his time in another century. I wondered how to start a dialogue between his music and my medium, which currently is photography. Many of us have an intimate relationship with Chopin. He's someone we carry in our hearts, someone who stays close to us. It matters to me that the audience never feels cheated by the work, and perhaps when people look at the photographs, it's little like listening to music. I find it extraordinary.
Rectangles of light cut across the stone floor and wooden parquet. A woman's shadow passes from the right.
We decided to show the prints without glass, so that they could be experienced nearly palpably. They are made on Japanese paper. I love this paper. Very light texture. That puts sensuality into this experience. I had my first opportunity to listen to Chopin played on period instrument. It was a player and its sound was rather muted. You had to listen intently. First, in my life, I felt Chopin even closer. It was an experience some others might have had before. It was extremely powerful and touching. I endeavored to present the prints in an understandable way, to let people connect to them through their senses, each and every visitor.
At the exhibit, we move closer to a photo. Among trees, a one-story manor house.
I believe that in the world we live in, screens have become hugely important for many people.
Les écrans prennent énormément d'importance et effectivement on peut voir de la danse, du théâtre, du sport,
you can watch
des
dance,
amis, des
theater
amours
and
à
sports
travers un
on a
écran,
screen. You
mais
can
moi, ça,
talk
c'est
to
pas la
friends
vie.
and partners
Et,
too. But this is no life to me.
Et la vie, c'est
Life
quand
is
on
when
a
there's
quelqu'un qui joue
someone
du piano
playing
chez
the
soi
piano
aussi,
at home.
Quand on voit ses
When
amis
you
en
see
vrai,
their
comme elle faisait
captivated
Georges
friends
Sand et
as
comme on peut le
Georges
faire actuellement.
Sand once
Et donc
did.
dans ce sens,
And
pour
when
moi,
we
la
can do it
photographie sur
now.
un écran, ça n'existe pas.
That's why
Ça
for me
existe quand c'est un
photography doesn't
tirage ou
exist
quand
on a
c'est une
screen.
forme physique,
I must have the print,
qu'on peut
the physical
offrir,
form.
recevoir,
It can be
toucher,
given,
jeter,
received,
peut-être,
touched.
mais en tous
In
les cas,
any
qui
case,
peut
it
être
can be
partagé
shared
par
through
les
the
sens.
senses.
A wooded area. To the left, a tall weeping willow above a bench. To the right, spreading pines.
D'évoquer
I've tried to go upon what I find present in some Chopin's works.
Et à travers ces pièces, à quels endroits on peut trouver de
In
la
these works, you
mélancolie,
can
mais
find
aussi
melancholy, but
du
there is a joy
bonheur.
too.
Quand on écoute,
Listening to him, you see more
ce n'est
than
pas
only
seulement
a
un être
suffering
torturé,
individual
qui est mort
who
en tous
is now
sens.
long
Ça a été
gone.
quelqu'un qui a été jeune, qui a été lumineux, et dont je
He was
crois
a young man full of life. I believe
la
his personality was far
était
more
certainement
complex
beaucoup
than its
plus
echo
complexe
we have today.
que l'écho qu'elle peut
A
donner
glass building
aujourd'hui.
facade. In the corridor, light and shadow trace the shape of tall windows.
La nature, pour moi, je crois que peut-être c'est l'illusion que quelque chose n'aurait pas changé. Je crois que c'est ce
To me,
médium
nature is an
qui est
illusion that some
tellement
things
prise
never
avec le
change.
réel. Je suis
This
pas
technique
peintre,
is extremely
imaginez, ça
close
serait
to
tellement
reality.
facile, je pourrais faire
I am not
passer
a
Chopin
painter.
dans la roseraie
It would
avec
have been
ou sans
easy.
Georges Sand. Moi,
I could present
j'arrive
Chopin in
et
the
je
rose
dois
garden with or
saisir
without
ce
Georges
réel
Sand.
pour
I
amener le
must
spectateur
trust that
dans
reality
quelque
to
chose qui était
transport
passé
the
il y a
audience to
100 ans.
something that happened
C'est
100
pas
years ago.
évident. Et je pense que
That
la
is far
nature,
from obvious.
c'est peut-être
I believe
ce
that
qui
nature
permet
is
le
what
plus
perhaps
cette
allows
illusion.
to express
Cette
this
illusion
illusion best.
d'éternité.
The illusion of eternity.
Enfin, je ne suis pas seule pour créer un travail comme ça.
This work
Je veux dire,
is
ce
not
travail, il
mine
est dans mon
alone.
cœur, mais il serait pas possible
It is
s'il
in my
n'y avait
heart,
pas
but it wouldn't
autour
be
de moi
possible
comme des
if I
fées
had
ou
no
des
fairies
magiciens,
and magicians around me. And the
dont
museum
l'équipe
team are some of those.
du musée fait partie aussi, qui portent ce projet et qui me permettent de
They
le
let me
faire
run
tel
this
qu'il
project
est.
and endow it
Ce
with
projet,
its current
il a été
form.
possible que parce qu'Elisabeth Pezza-Brown, elle a compris tout
This
de
project
suite
was possible thanks to
que
Elisabeth Pezza-Baron.
je ferais pas de mal à la maison et que
She immediately
si elle me
understood
laissait
I want to
de la
harm to the
liberté,
house, and that given freedom,
je
I will
rendrai
repay the best way I can.
ce qui m'avait été donné de mon mieux. Et il y a beaucoup de photos
Many
qui
photographs
ne sont
could only be
possibles que parce
taken
qu'elle m'a
because she let
permis
me
de
empty
vider
the
la salle à
dining room,
manger complètement,
ruffle the
de
beds,
défaire les
and
lits,
place a loaf of
de
bread
mettre du
in the
pain dans la
kitchen.
cuisine.
But she also
Et aussi
furnished
parce que
them.
les équipes,
That's why I
et en ce
believe
sens, je
that the
pense que
heart of
cette
that
maison,
house,
le domaine de
the
Georges
world
Sand,
of Georges
il est
Sand,
resté très
remains
sandien
very
dans
much her
l'âme.
style.
Georges
We
Sand,
know
c'était
that
quelqu'un dont on
Georges
sait qu'elle
Sand
avait un
was
sens de
extremely
l'hospitalité
hospitable,
très
and she
fort,
had a
qu'elle
deep
aimait
love
énormément
for
les
artists.
A square room, glass walls lined with white panels. Photos and captions hang on them.
Ces deux photos de main,
The idea
c'était,
behind those two photographs
je
of
pense,
hands
l'idée
was to bring them
de les
together.
réunir.
Yet, and this is
Mais
where
on
we
voit
see
bien
a
que c'est un peu comme les
similarity
mains de
to
la
the
chapelle
hands in
Sixtine.
the Sistine Chapel.
Elles ne se touchent
They
pas
don't
vraiment.
really touch. There is a space between them,
Il y a toujours un
greater or
espace, il est plus
smaller.
ou moins grand
You can
selon
play
les
with that
accrochages.
space
On pourra
between
toujours
them.
jouer sur
Yet
cet
they
espace qu'il y a
are
entre eux.
and are not
Mais à la
together
fois
at the
ils
same
sont
time.
ensemble et à la fois ils sont séparés.
It is
C'était aussi
also a way of
une
summoning
manière
Georges Sand in a
d'évoquer
place where her
Georges Sand
presence
dans un
lingers,
endroit où elle est en creux.
where they are
Enfin, ils
both
sont là en
present,
creux, elle parce
if
qu'elle est la
only for a
maîtresse de la
suggestion.
maison, lui parce qu'il a composé
She,
certainement
because she is the lady of the house,
l'essentiel de ses
and he,
œuvres là-bas.
because this
Et
is where he composed his most
c'était joli de les
important works.
réunir un petit peu.
It felt good to bring them together.
C'est la première fois
This
que
is
ce
the first
travail
time
autour
these
de la
works,
présence de
rooted in the
Chopin,
living presence of
toujours
Chopin
vive à
in
Nohant,
Nohant, will
va
be
voir
shown
le
to the
jour.
public.
Et c'est ici,
Moreover,
dans la maison
here in
natale de
his
Chopin,
birthplace.
et c'est, je
I
crois,
believe it's an
un
exceptional
moment
opportunity
particulier qui
and
ne se
one that
reproduira
may
pas.
never
Aussi,
come
je
again.
vous invite
I
à
do
venir voir
invite
en
you to
vrai
watch the prints the way
les
they are
tirages
and see whether,
voir si vous
in
entendez
looking
la
at
musique
them,
de Chopin
you
en
can
les
hear
regardant.
Chopin's music.
We move away from the artist in black beret and coat, standing on grass, bare white trees behind her, fade to black. On a black screen, logo. A hand-drawn 16th note. A vertical stem rises from the note head. At the top and halfway down, two lines. A bold line crosses through the note, forming the letter F. On the right, in printed text, the Fryderyk Chopin Institute.